one of the things that it took me a while to fully understand, but what we're talking about is we needed to create a single source of truth. People talk about data platform, they talk about data lake. There's a lot of technical terms for this, but what we're really talking about is technology that enables you to take all of your data from all kinds of different sources, whether it's internal or external, vendors or collaborators, and put it all into one place in a way that everyone can access using, pretty well standardized tools. And they can access it knowing that it's accurate, right? So you need this single source of truth, and it needs to be truth. It needs to be accurate. And there's a bunch of steps we can talk about that you also need to take to make sure that what you're putting on the platform in the lake is good data. It has to be cleaned, it has to be scrubbed, it has to be there in exactly the right way, or people will learn that the platform exists but it produces information that's not reliable. So we created the definitions, we then start to feed the platform with the correctly defined data in a high quality manner. Then what do we do with the data, right? But again, this gets to people start with, hey, I want to use a data visualization tool, I want a great dashboard that everybody can use, rather than backing up all the steps they need to take and saying, what do I have to do in order to be able to get to that? Is the end point. That's the destination in a lot of ways. That is not the start of the story, right? The visualization.
And because Link was a brand new company in 2019, grew very quickly through acquisition with thousands of assets and tens of millions of square feet, hundreds of millions of square feet under management, we wanted to be able to build something that then would obviously grow over time. But we also were putting in not just the enterprise data platform, but we're also putting in, which system of truth is the term to use. We all trust it's a system of truth. But at the same time, in parallel, we're putting in systems of record, which are the applications that we're using to run our business. So we're bringing these systems in to encircle the Link data platform to be the system of truth. Systems of record have to feed that. It all has to be architected in a certain way and orchestrated in a way so that you don't step on each other, you don't have things trying to vie for serving up the same information. And again, back to the fortunate position that we were in, we didn't have a lot of legacy tech debt, if any. We didn't have organizational debt. We didn't have operating model debt to deal with. What we had was a different set of stresses, which is this open space that we got a chance to fill in and figure out along the way, but that comes with a different level of stresses that you have to figure out.
No, and in a way, we had some chaos at the beginning because we didn't have anything really.
Yeah.
That was a huge disadvantage at the beginning because I was mentioning we couldn't answer those very basic questions. That was a big disadvantage in a way, but to your point, it's also a huge advantage. A lot of what people watching this are going to be dealing with is so-called technical debt. I have an existing system that I've invested X million dollars in, and unfortunately that system doesn't allow you to do the things we're doing here very easily. Do I try to adapt it? Do I wipe the slate clean and install a new system? That's a lot of cost, that's a lot of time and energy by the organization. So those are all really, really important questions. I think speaking from my perspective, the destination here is so incredibly valuable. It is worth millions of dollars of investment to get there, but we should be clear, particularly for companies starting with a legacy platform, both from a property perspective and a technology perspective, there are some real barriers to doing this, and there's some real costs to replacing one thing for another or adapting it and making it all work together.